Gary, what you experienced, so many others have been inspired by, right? To get into business, for themselves because there's this misperception, at least for me growing up, there was this misperception that there was more risk working for myself. But that's a myth because when you work for somebody else,
Mhm.
you have no control. You can be fired at any time. At least you control your own destiny if you run your own business. And in your case, look, you had a great career, but in order for you to sustain the livelihood for you and your family was going to require you to relocate again and again and again. And, the kids are getting a little older now, school age. You don't want to be pulling them out. I totally get that. And I think that's the reason why not only business, but more specifically franchising is so exciting because it gives people that opportunity to get in business for themselves, as we say, the old cliche, but not by themselves, right?
I mean, I come from a family, nobody's in business for themselves. I didn't get a whole lot of support from my parents or my in-laws or anybody within the family. They all thought I was nuts.
They always think we're nuts, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. The part of that, Gary, and I've shared this on a prior episode, is that I think what happens is our families, they don't want to see us fail. And if they don't see your vision for themselves, they will tell you not to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's one of those things where, I mean, our friends, our family, they love us. They don't want to see us fail. But if they can't see that same vision that you see, then they're like, don't do it. And they come up with all the reasons why something's not going to work.
Yeah. And you're right. Most people do see operating in your own business as a bigger risk than being employed. I can tell you, my wife still feels that way. There are times when she'll say, why don't you just get a job? You know, I love what I do. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I could retire and live pretty well right now at my age, but I stay because I like helping people. I like this business. I like the idea of what we do for people, and that's one of the reasons why we decided to open it up as a franchisor so we could help other people live through our experience.
Well, that's the beauty, I think, of what you guys are coming in now with Disaster Blaster is that you have this franchise experience of being on the other side. You know what was really good, things that you like that you probably want to continue doing with Disaster Blaster. And there's other things where there was obviously a gap, and that was part of your motivation where you said, I think we can do this better for, ourselves because there's either, like you said earlier, the services you want to provide, or maybe there's just parts of the service that you felt like it just wasn't cutting it. What do you think, going back to your franchise experience as franchise owners, what do you think was your secret to success in making that business work and growing to 3 locations?
I didn't come from a sales background. So when I came out, my toughest thing was, am I going to be able to sell jobs and things like that? I did get a great deal of support. The fact that they provide you with the materials to take out with you, that was a great help. Back when we started that, the social media and that type of thing wasn't big.
Right.
So that wasn't really any help. The support's important. I would have been tough for me to just do it cold turkey.
Yeah.
I think I still could have done it, but it would have taken longer and it would have been a lot tougher.
Did you feel like, Gary, that you had to prove yourself because people told you this, that you were nuts?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no way to motivate me better than say no to me. And I think the other part of this is too is it gave me an opportunity to have my I have a son, Matt, and I have a daughter, to get my kids involved in the business. Earlier on, my daughter was involved in the business and she chose to go a different route, and that's fine. But as a result of that, I think, at least I feel, we're much closer than we ever would have been
Mhm.
if I would have been working outside the house somewhere.
Sure. So let's bridge the gap here now. So I want to know how the whole idea started with Disaster Blaster, and how do we bring Matthew into this? How does this whole thing happen?
So I had originally started working for the initial franchise business that my father had purchased, working out in the field doing the actual work. And over the years, I've filled essentially every role within the restoration space. from physically performing the work to managing the projects, sales and marketing, clerical. So there's not a lot that I haven't done at this point in time. I still get involved when we have a large loss or a large project that needs to be managed with a lot of moving parts, just to assist our existing project manager with that process, because I have so much experience doing so. Eventually, I actually purchased a franchise myself. So I had one and he had two. And the more we talked about it, we were able to work and join forces on projects, periodically and pool some of our resources when need be. And it's great from a franchise standpoint to be able to kind of work with neighboring franchises on those projects and things. But we really wanted to do something together. And Disaster Blaster allowed us not only the ability to do that, but to address what we felt were needs that our customers had that we weren't meeting. So just as an example, one that I give all of the time is we do a lot of mold remediation. So, if someone has a mold problem in their attic or their basement, we'll address that. And that's a common service within the industry. But most companies will address the mold problem and then they're done, they leave. Mm-hmm. And a year from now, the property owner has a mold problem again. We don't stop with addressing the mold issue. We offer through our a long list of basement waterproofing services and humidity control services, we're able to actually solve the underlying moisture problem. So hopefully they won't need us again. And that allows us to provide a much better value to our customers. And through the franchise business as well, our franchisees are able to sell 2 projects to that customer instead of 1.
Do you feel, Matthew, so the previous business that you guys were franchisees was it more about just fixing the symptoms then, as opposed to with Disaster Blaster, you're trying to get to the source of it in addition to? Is that where the difference really is?
Yeah, most of the restoration brands, if you do look at them, offer 3 to 4 services. Mm-hmm. Water mitigation, fire and smoke damage cleanup, repair services, mold remediation, things like that. They're not actually addressing the underlying cause of those problems.
Right.
We currently have 13 services that are available through Disaster Blaster, and we're constantly looking at other opportunities and other ways to improve our service offering and the value that we're able to provide our customers. So that's really the biggest difference with us. We're always focused on how we can be better.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.